Hello traders, Jeff with OptionBoxer.com, back with another video today. If any of you know me or if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that I don't day trade very often because I'm just not very good at it. But I have found a strategy that I think you're really going to enjoy, and I'll go ahead and say before we get into the video that the strategy has been very, very successful for me. So successful, in fact, that that it's really at this point in time, at least over the next month to month and a half, it's really going to be the only strategy that I deploy. I have not lost a single trade. Now I've broke even on a couple of trades, but I have not lost on a single trade using this strategy. So before we get into it, please know that I am not a registered financial advisor, and this video is in no way a recommendation for you to buy or sell any security or place any trade. It's not a recommendation for you to attempt any strategy either. Just make sure you're doing your own research. Make sure you understand the risks in trading options or stocks or futures or Forex and any of that. So with that being said, you'll see that I'm in on demand, which I typically am when I'm making videos. And I've got the tick chart and the SPY chart pulled up. And we'll go ahead and auto zoom this. And so basically you'll see this this price level that I've got here. And I drew that, excuse me, I drew that in based on, you know, looking back over the last few days, and I can see that right where that price level is kind of what I would call an extreme area to the downside. And if you just look back over the, you know, the last couple of days, you'll see that 800 to the upside would be an extreme area on that side of the trade as well. So let's go ahead and let's create a drawing. I'm sorry, I didn't need to do that. Let's go and create a drawing here around the 800 level as well, just so we have both sides covered. And essentially that's what we're going to use. We're going to trade based on what the tick chart tells us, and we're looking for extremes on the tick chart. And in this case, the extremes would be either positive 800 or negative 800. You can see right now we've just had a touch of the negative 800 area, and so basically at this point I'm just waiting on these other three indicators to kind of indicate when I should get into the SPY here. You'll notice also that I have a 1 minute chart pulled up for each of these. So very simple technical, very simple day trading strategy using the tick chart and some technical indicators, some very easy to understand technical indicators. And I'll kind of talk through them just a little bit before I push play and we look for a trade. But what I've got here is I look at the tick chart basically just to see when it gets to an extreme. I mean, I've already kind of said that. And as soon as it gets to that area, you know, if it touches the negative 800 line, well, I'm looking to take a bullish trade. If it goes all the way up to the positive 800 line, I'm looking to take a bearish trade. And so you can see today we haven't had any touches even anywhere near the positive 800 area, but with this large sell-off, we've had a touch now of the 800 area here at about 10 o'clock. I will say that 10 o'clock, 9 to 9:30 is when I start looking to trade this strategy. It just the movement in the market gets a little too erratic. It wasn't too bad on this day that we're looking at, April the 2nd of 2019. But the movement in the first hour of trading can be pretty erratic, and there's just no, it's just difficult to use this technique at least to try to identify a directional trade like we're going to make. So I use options to trade this way. I guess it could be considered a scalping strategy because I'm just trying to take you know, a small amount. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just assume, let's just assume I have $1,000 that I want to deploy with this strategy, and we'll trade it accordingly. But so, you know, let's go and look at the actual setup we have here. So, the last thing I want to say is the way I trade this in a live market is I don't sit here and stare at the screen all morning waiting for it to reach an extreme. I just come in and I right click on the chart, and this isn't live trading, but if it were, you could just right click on the chart in the area that you want the price level drawn, and you'll just click create alert. It's somewhere on this menu that pops up, but you would just right click, create an alert. So if price moves to or below the 800 level, or if it moves to or above the 800, the positive 800 level, and it'll just simply text you on your cell phone, or it will give you an alert on your computer if the Thinkorswim is open, and then you can just come back in and you know, set your trade up and you know, go ahead and you know, let it ride. Again, this is a quick trading strategy, trying to get in, get out, take some money out of the market, and move on. So I've got $1,000 I want to deploy. I'm waiting for the MACD to curl higher. So let's go ahead and push play here and see what price we'll end up doing. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward it. I'm not going to talk much. You already know we're waiting for this blue line to curl upward. So we're starting to get some bullish action on the tick chart, and that's usually a good indication for SPY to go ahead and make a move higher. But with this strong downtrend here, I mean, really just fell off a cliff. We need to look to take our profits fairly quickly, at least on part of our trade. So if we opened a couple of contracts, we would need to be ready to get out quickly, at least with half our trade. So the tick chart has turned completely around, which means SPY should be doing the same. I'm going to go ahead and get into the trade now. Let's go ahead and play this in real time. I'm going to go ahead and set up a trade. Now, I like to trade, you know, about 10 days out. Some people would want to trade right at on the first day. I just feel like Theta could catch you there. And since I have $1,000 to trade, I'm going to go ahead and set up 5 of these. Go ahead and get into that. And let's see if we can get this to move higher. So it would be at this point, we'll go and auto zoom that. It would be at this point that I'd probably want to set up a stop loss. And the way I would do that is I would simply just kind of identify the area that I didn't want it to go to, which would probably be right around here somewhere. And then I would go ahead and create an alert at that level as well. But since we don't have that, I'm just going to create a price level there. And we're going to see if we can't get this thing to turn higher. So the tick chart really, like I said, is of no consequence to us now. Once we're in the trade, we're just worried about trying to turn some profit. And you know, and if it gets down to this stop loss level, we will of course take our money off the table and you know, move on. But you can see here that even if it fell down from 285, it's you know, that's only about a 40-cent move lower. And you can see we're getting a nice curl around of the MACD now. And so at this point, I'll pause the video and we'll come back briefly just to kind of recap how the day went. I just don't want you guys to have to wait while this thing buffers. So I'll be right back. All right. So I fast forwarded. I think it was about 10 minutes, you know, on this on-demand application. You can, of course, look back over the last couple of seconds of this video and see exactly how many minutes it was. It was close to 10 minutes. But regardless, you can see at this moment we've had a nice move higher. You know, at the same time, we've come off this low here, and we've reached all the way up to the you know, kind of an extreme on the higher side. So that's you know, kind of a negative factor in itself, and so it would make you start to think that maybe this trade has run its course. You got the move you wanted. Price is showing a little bit of a resistance there against the 200 period average, or possibly the 50 period average. Can't remember exactly which one that is, but it's showing a little bit of resistance there. The MACD did exactly what we wanted it to, turned higher. But the stochastic momentum index, or the SMI, there is also at an overbought level. So it's at this point that I would probably close the trade. If you were, you know, if you thought like me, you'd probably look over here and you'd say, okay, I've made $85. I'll create a closing order for maybe 4 of my positions there and try to sell it for maybe a tick higher. Just collect another $1 or 2. And so before we do that, I'm going to have to probably push play here so that prices will start to fluctuate again. And we'll see if we can't get 217, and we got filled immediately. Of course, it's on demand, so you know, in a real market, it may not get filled that quick. So be prepared to adjust by a penny or two. It's not worth letting your profit you know, fall off the table there. You know, while you wait on a fill price that you want. So just be prepared to take a penny or two off the table. and that way you get filled and you take your profit and you move on. So you can see we made $82 in about 10 minutes. Of course, it took a little bit of understanding to get to that point. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to fast forward to the end of the day, and we're going to see how our one loan contract would have done if we held it all the way through. So we're going to pause it and I'll be right back. All right, so that was a successful trade, at least by my measure. And you can see price never even got close to our stop loss level. The one thing I would have done if I was going to leave one contract open, which likely I wouldn't, just because I don't want to burn up a second day trade. I should have said that, or maybe I said it wrong. But I likely wouldn't leave this one contract open because it would end up burning up a second day trade. If I open all 5 and close all 5, it's only 1 day trade. But if I close the second one, then it becomes 2 day trades because that's another closing order. But what I would do is I would activate this alert, and I would probably move it up here to a really tight stop loss. That way, even if price did move against me, I'd basically break even on that one contract there. But you can see it moved higher, and I think when we started this, it was around $17 in profit on that one trade. So we essentially made another $15 or so, and so we had to wait all day to get that extra 15. I just don't know that it was worth it for burning up a second day trade and having to wait all day with our finger on the trigger to get out of the trade. But that is the strategy, and so I'll go ahead and close this, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, I've had some really good success with it. But in the simplest possible terms, you want an extreme indication on the tick chart. It's a $TICK is the ticker there. And then basically once you get that extreme, you're looking to fade the extreme on the tick chart. And what I mean by that is if it goes to negative 800, you want to be setting up a bullish trade. If it goes to positive 800, you want to be looking to try to set up a bearish trade. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to reach me at optionboxer.com. Thanks for watching.